Hi. I've decided to do a little something different for this video. My girlfriend and I are still in the process of unpacking our things in this new house, and she's actually in front of me working on that right now. Anyhow, I came across a bunch of old notebooks and folders from my high school days, and in particular found this red folder that I used for my creative writing class, which has some poems that I wrote for the end of term. And I designed this cover to be like a reflection of my personality, which in this case means things that I really liked. Uh, for those who haven't guessed yet, my real name isn't in fact Joe Finsternis. It is Joseph Frazier. A lot of assholes like to misspell it with an I. I'm not the boxer. A couple of my favorite books at the time were Clive Barker's Books of Blood, volumes 1 and 2. There's a really sexy picture that I took of myself. The Evil Dead still is one of my all-time favorite movies, and of course, Rammstein has remained my favorite band throughout the years. But anyway, without further ado, I've read about a poem and a half of this so far. I'm not even going to remember what half of these are about. I'm sure most of them are going to be awful, but here goes. This first one is titled Self-Portrait. He is often wrapped in his other world, without responsibility or forethought. For this he could be a failure with so much potential. He is sometimes distant from his family, from the people who love him. For this he could be a criminal for all that they know. He very often wonders if he has friends, or if he is just someone who is there. For this he might be alone, trapped in a void he created. He wonders if there really is love, or if we just hate being alone. For this, he might be hopeless, waiting for the world to end. Yeah, I'm sure you could piece this together yourself, but I had a pretty negative outlook on the world at the time. This next one is based around building a shape with a poem, and I just went with a very simple triangular shape, nothing big. The title is Building a Pyramid. If I was building the pyramids, life would be awful. To be under forced servitude, the whip buried in my skin, and brought back to the surface with strong, cruel hands. My body malnourished and weak, if not for the whip, I would lie down in peace. But peace will come eventually, I just know I will finish. The sun is sweltering, my bones are visible. I work until finally my body gives out, and the peace is here, and so my bones are buried in the stone along with my slave-driving king. Bunch of happiness in this folder. This next one is titled Dreams. He who dreams must have some nonsense in his life. If there is only sense, he has no dreams. He who is asleep may not ever want to wake up. If he looks forward to the day, even when he is sleeping. He must have horrible dreams and a horrible heart. He who has everything he wants must have nothing when he sleeps. Okay, that's actually not a bad verse. For what is there to dream about when his dreams are real? The sleeping is escape. With it we are everywhere. Without it we are nowhere. There must be dreaming so that we can have peace. If he doesn't dream, there is nothing inside him but a void. Alrighty then. That was... Huh?
I found my glow in the dark duct tape.
Yay! This next one is supposed to be a free verse poem. It's called Mein Gedanken, uh, which is a German term. Being such a huge fan of Rammstein, I was like really into that language at the time. I actually can't quite remember what Gedanken means now. But here goes the free verse. Building up inside an eel waits to snap. If I was useless, then I would not be here. I have reason to be. Because of my mother and her shenanigans, I know not to trust, yet I still attempt it and repeat the past which I have not yet learned from. Some people call me a loser just because I have no video game system. But if I am a loser, for that I would rather be that way instead of rotting my brain on endless gaming. Wow, that's pretty hurtful. Some of my best friends are gamers. The generations become less and less intelligent as time moves on. If the world continues for another 100 years, we will all soon be not very dissimilar to our Cro-Magnon ancestors. If there is a way where there is a will, then I would very much like to meet Mr. Way so that he can point me in the right direction. Confusion never stops, it only eats itself so that there can still be more confusion to come. Okay, that last verse wasn't so terrible. I kind of like it. Self-portrait 2. Oh boy. Within the darkest pit there can be imagination, often so infernal yet with so much more. In the mind there lies a prison, holding things that shouldn't be, hiding all the images with deep nightmares in store. In the heart there is a place, penetrated by no light, where all my darkest feelings are beating at the door. I hide my thoughts and be complacent, being happy as can be. It's more like acting really, but it hasn't failed before. Huh. That's actually not too bad. Still pretty fucking negative, but not terrible. You are excused. A whole haiku. Get it? Because it's about a hole. In his head, a hole where his faith existed once, it is now empty. And that's it. The end. Yeah, I just thought it would be kind of fun to read those. I hope that you all enjoyed cringing along with me. If not, then I apologize for wasting. And just kidding, it looks like it's not over yet. I have found an additional folder of poems from the following year. This cover here is based on a drawing that I made way back in junior year. And these poems are from my senior year. Let's see if my mindset grew a little more positive. This first one is called Black Glass. The eyes are windows to the soul, and his windows are made of black glass, for you can see nothing through them. Some think they understand him, yet if they knew the real person behind the glass, they would wish they never had. During the night the glass cracks. With each day there is a new grain of sand, a new piece of the pane. He hopes that he may die before the glass breaks. Yep, we're off to a happy start. And then this next one is based on the shape theme. Generation Zero. To us, the older generations are nothing to take seriously. It's just like that old cliche for those who do not learn from the past. I feel so original. This next one is the free verse poem. The title is Strange. I am proud to wear the label of weird. I think of freak as a term of endearment, but too many people tell me that it's nothing to be proud of. So being different is nothing to be proud of? Should I change the way I think in order to be proud of myself? Maybe you are the freak, because you do not think it's right to be odd. When a greater number disagrees, you are the one who is abnormal. Sometimes people try to comfort me by telling me I'm not strange, but they do not understand how comfortable I am with that word. Strange is not an insult. Strange is a way to live. Some are offended to be called weird. They cuss and shout. I have seen this happen. Because they cannot stand the thought of being weird. They don't like the idea of being set apart from the rest. Stop bickering because someone thinks you're different. If you think that being strange is nothing to be proud of, you are the one who should not be proud. It's actually not too terrible, in my opinion. This next one is called Monster. Darkness to hide in, away from the monster which surely waits deeper into this labyrinth to escape the beast which threatens to consume me, to eat away my soul. Yet at every corner it looms, so menacingly in the darkness I do not see its face, just the shape. Escape is impossible, even impractical. It welcomes me, and finally I am tempted to embrace it. I meet the abomination underneath an arch and see its face for the first time. I reach out to touch it, it reaches out as well, and instead of touching something alive, my hand comes to meet a cold and unyielding surface of polished glass. And before anyone cries plagiarism, I had that last line in quotes and put the title of The Outsider at the bottom. I was really big into H.P. Lovecraft at the time. This next one is meant to be loosely based on the words of another poem, and one of my consistently favorite songs throughout the years has been Du Riech so gut by Rammstein. So this is kind of based off of the themes of that song and the kind of rhythm of the poetry, if that makes sense. Sightlessness is only a thin veil, waiting to be carried away. I'm lifting it. The light confuses the mind, a blind child that crawls forward because it must escape the darkness. I am lost. The track is covered in confusion. I sweat as I continue searching. I don't see. I only sense the life that may be, a predator within the prey. I stumble blindly for miles. Now I see it. I wait until it is light. Then I will be waiting forever. My eyes betray me. Oh, I can't see. I am still blind. I stop and wait to see, but I can't. I will never, for I am blind forever. It seems that I cut out the chorus to that song completely. Okay. That's the same poem again. And then this next one is titled A Falling Out of Love Poem. There was a boy who fell in love, and like a child falling out of its mother's arms, he fell out of it. Like that child, he had suddenly been hit with such pain and shock as he had never imagined, and soon after he hit the bottom, he could not make a sound because like that child, he was dead. Holy shit. So much death and darkness. Moving on to the last poem of this folder, and eventually to the end of this video. This final poem is called Release. I can already guess the meaning of that word. There are too many who fear death. Do they not know the release it could bring? There are too many who fear change. Do they not know the release it brings? There are too many who can't tolerate those who do not have the same basic morals as they. Those who do not follow the belief of others are probably more released than the rest of us. There are too many who grow so defensive when we even hint that they may be a certain way. Do they fear that they really are like that? There are too many who are childlike in their perception, so simple minded and dull in what they believe. We must let go of our intolerance, let go of our bitter judgment, keep the morals, and release the distaste it may bring. Release the inner hatred and turn away from it. Well, that one started off a bit rocky, but I like the way it ended. Anyway, that is the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed some of the content and enjoyed laughing at other parts of the content. I'm sure you must have gotten a few chuckles out of it. Anyway, it's over for real this time. I hope y'all have a good one.